Okay, this is how I set up my class set of iPads individually. I'm not using Apple Configurator just yet. Try to find time to actually learn how to use it, but in the meantime I've got 10 and I'm running them individually, but they're all the same. So I've actually only got sort of one or two screens there. There's a couple hidden there, but of apps, and when I'm happy with it, I go to settings, and the first thing I do, we've got to go through here and set the restrictions, but first of all I go to iCloud and click on storage and backup, and then turn off iCloud backup. That is really important through DEC, because what happens is it tends to lock up and freeze your iPads if you haven't backed it up for the last 4 weeks, and as we know, it always struggles to sort of back up through our proxy anyway. So just turn it off for now, and you'll see why later on. I'll show you why as we move on. You'll sort of might become clearer. Okay, so first of all, let's go and enable the restrictions. Put in a password. Don't put in 1111, but I'm going to do that for this exercise. Okay, so these days I sort of leave Safari on, and I'll talk to you later about the network settings and how to stop kids getting into your account. So camera we leave on. FaceTime you can turn off, not that they can use it. iTunes off. Leave iBookstore because I use iBooks, and then turn off installing apps and deleting apps. Okay, then I go to explicit and I turn that off. Australia, okay, just scroll through and find Australia. Films, just click it on G. TV programs, same thing, click to G. Of course you can do whatever you like, but I'm just giving you, we might go PG, just to be safe. I mean, not that anything can go through the filters, but you know, anyway. Explicit sexual content, turn that off. Apps, I sort of leave that, because when you install things like Google Chrome and things like that, it'll warn you 17 plus because they're like search engine apps, but I generally leave that on. I mean, I'm managing it anyway, so they can't install apps, so it should be fine. In-app purchases, definitely turn that off, and the required password, make that immediately. So what that means, as soon as if I hit the home button, got out of this right now, you'll see that when I go back into restrictions, I've got to put the password straight away. It's not 15 minutes, so you might leave it on accidentally, and then a student comes in and can access everything. So I'll just put the 4 ones back in again and continue where we're up to. Okay, so we've got all this sort of sitting here. So that's immediately where we're up to. Location services, leave those on. And a lot of apps sort of need the location services. And definitely leave Find My iPad on, because you want to be able to, and I put the status bar so it comes up here when it's finding the iPad. But if you go to iCloud.com and put in your iTunes account, you can actually find where your iPad is, and send a message to it, or make it beep, or whatever you want it to do, and you can actually find it. It's really good when you're actually on the way out of the house and you can't find it. You can actually send a sound to it and then find your iPad, as long as it's on a wireless network. So definitely for school, that's really important. Okay, I'm leaving all of those on. Now what do we got here? No, don't worry about all that. Leave all that. That's fine. Maybe put the status on if you really want to, for location, so you know when something's locating you, but you know, who cares. If we go back up here to don't allow changes, so what that does is stops the kids from making any changes to that. Okay, and it's a few places you'll see that occur. Okay, so then we've got contacts. If you've put your email address into the contacts, or anyone that you want, any staff that you want the kids to be able to email, once you've done that, then go don't allow changes, so they can't add contacts, they can't take away contacts, and everything's fine. Calendars, we don't really use those on the school iPads, but again, don't allow changes. Reminders, don't allow changes, don't use those. Photos, let's allow those, because we've got a couple of apps here that I'm using to transfer, so I leave the photos on. Bluetooth sharing, I allow changes. Twitter, they can't access anyway, but just say don't allow changes. Facebook, don't allow changes. So therefore, anything I've done in the settings to those down here, they can't change. Okay, so now here's an important one. You'll notice here iCloud is open at the moment, when I say don't allow changes, it ghosts out, and messages ghosts out, and a few other things, Twitter and Facebook ghost out. So that's that's one of the important ones. And that's where I was getting stuck, where my iPad was getting caught, was because I couldn't work out how to turn off what I showed you earlier in iCloud, because that one there, accounts, was not allowing changes. So if you want to go back and change that iPad backup thing, you've got to allow that, and then go back into iCloud and go to storage and backup, and then turn the iCloud backup on or off. But as I said, it's best you keep it off for a school iPad. Okay, so where were we? Also restrictions. See, immediately got to put it back in again. It's not a bad thing. Okay, where were we? All right, so now we're at volume limit. I don't limit that. I just leave it. I think that's just okay. Multiplayer games, I leave that on only because I've got a couple of music games on there. But adding friends, I just take that off. I mean, you can leave it on. Actually, it's not a big deal, especially if you don't have games on there or whatever. And most of them probably don't work through the DET because of the proxy, so I'll leave those on. Okay, we're all set up, and as you can see there, oh, that's right, got to go back in there again. Once again, put the password in. Okay, and where was that thing? Was accounts? Don't allow changes. So now I've locked off those iClouds and messages and things. Okay, that's pretty much it. So we're set up in all your settings. You can even go through there's more individual settings sort of here, and that's just up to you to work out what you want to do. Okay, so once I go out of that, there we are. We have it pretty much locked down.